Ari, this is Black Star and the Winter Guardian. A lot of people wanted me to look at this after I mentioned it in my review of that Convergence's Green Lanterns, which was by the same creative team. And I do want to look at this, but I think I need to get the individual issues to properly do it justice. I cannot review this trade. Every other page would be me explaining something. I do recommend this if you have not read it. Slightly offbeat, but nice colourful superhero art. A giant superhero bear. And a guest appearance from the Angels of Aslan, of all things. Here is a related issue I thought we could look at. Captain America 352 by Marky Mark G and Andy Dwyer. This is a two-part story called Refuge, co-starring various Russian superheroes, and introducing a bunch too. The cover, now you all think this cover is brilliant, I bet, but I have gone off it over the years. The perspective is totally wrong. The bodies on the floor and the Avengers, they are at completely different perspectives. The Avengers are also missing their feet. There's a lack of a background. There is the enormous empty space between Captain America's legs, and there is Iron Man's head comically being cut off by the corner box. Nice try. I think this cover conceptually is as good as some of you think it is. I should also mention that my copy was not lined up right at the printers. You can see that by the fact that the advert from the back is taken up about half an inch of the cover. And inside there is some really tight cropping, but only 2 pages where I am actually missing the tiniest bit of art. This is one of them. Anyway, we open with a scene I bloody love and think about a lot. I have spoken before about how Captain America, and especially this run, got me into Avengers. And here we have another scene that is owed some credit for that. Captain America is holding tryouts for Avengers members, and so we get to see some real D-list characters and Speedy Balls unsuccessfully audition for the team. I was going to explain the other 3 characters, but I didn't know if it's worth it. Blue Streak comes from Taylor Swift's series. He's in some Kaiser. Gladiatrix is another Marky Mark character from Thing. She is one of the superpowered wrestlers. And finally, Mechanaut is a chump who has tried to fight the Avengers twice before. Speedy Pals, he was introduced a year earlier in Digivolutionary War, and then he had his own series which was Painful. And this is a year before he would join the New Warriors. In my mind, Speedy Balls is the only character of these 4 that I can see bringing anything towards the Avengers at that time. Something else is, I don't know if this is only because of my copy and its alignment problem, but when you have art across double pages, my God, do I prefer it like this. A gap in the middle. I didn't want to lose any of the picture. I want to see it all. Anyway, these would-be Avengers are a clumsy disaster, and bizarrely, the most clumsiest and incompetent of them, Mechanaut, is the one who Captain America gets to join the support staff of the team. What happens is during this, the Russian superheroes teleport in. They are wanting to make contact with the Avengers. But this leads to the classic misunderstanding fight between them and these rookie superheroes. It is nice that Marky Mark, while effectively calling them all losers, does give them a proper showing here. Like, Blue Streak isn't inherently a worthless character because he hasn't been used much and doesn't have very exciting powers, but shit, I only just remembered. I have a framed cover of Speedy Bal's #1. Someone was selling a framed print of the cover, and it amused me, so I got it. At this rate, I have too much to say about this issue too, it seems. Here is the other page where I think I am missing a very, very small bit of art. Captain America breaks up the fight, and we learn that the Soviet super soldier boys wish to defect from Russia to America. Captain America dismisses the trainees, but offers them words of encouragement and thinks that there is some potential that they may one day harness. I think he is only thinking of Speedy Balls with that, though. I won't devote time to the subplot page on the left and get straight into the Soviets. The three of them each have different points of origin. The main one, the oldest one, is Black Star, who was introduced in Champions. She is a Bill Bungalow character. In fact, yeah, all these are Bill Bungalow characters. Proletarian was introduced in Iron Man 109, which was also the first appearance of the Soviet Super Soldier Boys as a team. And finally, Ursaring, he was Hulk 258. They are defecting because this issue came out in 1989 and all sorts of wacky stuff was going on with Russian politics at the time. We are in the midst of the collapse of the Soviet Union, the fall of communism, the revolutions of 1989, and these guys consider themselves heroes for the people, not lackeys of the government, and so they wish to defect to America, where they can continue to serve as heroes, instead of staying in Russia, where they will be hunted and likely coerced back into employ. Acting really out of character, Captain America orders the Russians to train with his fellow Avengers, who are also acting really out of character. So we have some more fighting. The Avengers versus the Soviet Super Soldier Boys. And the Avengers, they are being quite brutal. They are obsessed with utterly defeating the Russians. Andy Dwyer did some great demented Captain Americas. We quickly cut away after this to more of the subplot with Bucky and the hot lady from Extra Factors. But to get back to the main thing, the fighting is great. The Avengers, they beat the Russians all pretty badly. They are all beaten into comas. And by this point, you've got to be wondering, what on earth is going on? Why are the Avengers being so mean? Why are they calling the Russians traitors to the motherland? It is because they are actually Russia's current team of operatives who are being disguised as the Avengers by their member Phantasma. With the exception of Rocket Red, who is the same Rocket Red from previous Soviet Super Soldier Boy stories. The others are all new characters, or in the case of Captain Russia, a new person in the costume. We see more of these guys in part 2, so I'll talk about them there. But the real Captain America returns. He finds the Russians all off dead and has no clue what has happened. Next, to Russia with Cap. What the fuck is that? To Russia with Cap. Is that meant to be a pun? Cap sounds nothing like love. And isn't it from Russia with love? Or maybe it's meant to be like to Russia with care. Still doesn't work though. That is fucking dreadful. I have always found the Russian Marvel team, and in general, a lot of the international characters that are more than a stereotype, to be quite compelling. They always make the world feel bigger. And I do like flag heroes, obviously Captain America, Jack Staff, Captain Russia. But I think the Russians always had the most mileage in them, and especially during a time like this when there was upheavals happening in real-world Russia. I didn't know how to say 7 in Russian, but that is how many thumbs up I give this issue.